listening to the Phenomenal Forum on WCWPSports.org and iTunes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Phenomenal Forum. I'm your host, Matt Weinstein, joined each and every week alongside me. To my right, it's Andrew Servideo. To my left, Alex the Animal Demiris. Guys, what's going on this week?
How are we?
I'm very good. I'm very excited.
And now, before we get into this week in wrestling, Clash of Champions, recap, just speaking of the Animal real quick, are we going to see Batista in a WWE ring rather soon?
When were we talking about this? About 3 shows ago.
It was a couple weeks ago,
yeah.
And now Batista's coming out. He wants one final run, about a 6-month to a year run, and he's ready to put in all the work to be full-time on the road.
Yeah, he wants full-time. He wants to work the live events and everything, too.
You know why? Because he's got the time now. He finished Guardians of the Galaxy. Avengers is all set and filmed coming out. He's got nothing but time.
Yeah.
And after his last run with Blue-Tista, whatever you want to call him, 3 years ago to now, well, almost 4 years ago now, comes to today, if he comes back, there are so many fresh matchups for him in a WWE ring. Put him in the ring with someone like AJ Styles, Bobby Roode, Nakamura, or if you look any of those Shield guys, he has history with them. Just anything he does when he comes back, I'm all for it. I'm ready to go.
Raw or SmackDown?
Yeah, I don't know. I was going to ask. I don't know.
It's a good question. Obviously, most of the first 3 guys I said matching up with him are on SmackDown, but I wouldn't be against him. Obviously, going to the main show.
He'd work for both
on Raw. He could do a John Cena type thing too, where he goes back and forth. Who knows?
Do you think he comes at the Royal Rumble and makes a surprise entrance?
Nothing gets me going like a surprise entry.
Yeah,
we didn't surprise entry.
We didn't have any last year. We had Ty Dillinger, and that was the only NXT call up. And then
Styles was 2 years ago, right?
Right,
Styles was 2 years ago. Now,
yeah, so there was no like surprise entrance. Everybody was like announced beforehand that came on.
I think if they can get a deal done quickly, which I don't see why him and Vince can't. I don't see why we don't see him in the Royal Rumble, maybe. And so I don't think he'll win it, but get thrown out by whoever to spark a feud there.
I think he fits in well with Raw because Raw's got the guys that are like a big stature. It has Strowman, Kane, Joe, Roman. I could definitely see Batista in the ring with these guys.
Now, that you mentioned Batista Strowman. I didn't know I wanted to see that until right now.
Did I just book it?
You may as well have. So now we'll get into it this past Sunday. Clash of Champions. The first match on the pre-show. Mojo Rawley defeated Zack Ryder. Pretty much what we thought. Mojo got the job done. But the interesting thing is that Mojo's been cutting some really good promos as of late. He's been showing me a lot.
That promo that he had on, I think it was on Instagram or something like that. He called out Ryder for not doing anything with his last Intercontinental title run and all that stuff. And I'm very impressed with his promo work. He's come a long way, definitely. But I want to see some of that more translate into the ring because I think he's missing some of that.
Okay, and it's hard not to look cool with Gronk by your side, right? I mean, he's making videos. He's got Gronk next to him talking smack to Zack Ryder, too. That's a hard hill to climb if you're Zack Ryder.
And I think there was one promo, it was a backstage interview with Renee. I think it was before the pay-per-view, the week before the pay-per-view. He was talking about how he was with the Hype Bros, Zack got hurt, and then by himself he won the Andre Battle Royal. Then Zack came back and he did nothing. How it's all about him. He don't need anybody. That he don't have a tag team partner. He's the guy, and we're gonna see it from Mojo Rawley. So I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Some fresh matchups again. Just new guys getting higher and higher on the card. There's no problem with that.
But I think we all picked Mojo last week.
Yeah,
to win
absolutely.
This match. But I don't think this is done. Mojo and Zack.
No, I think they can go a little bit.
Maybe a few more weeks.
They definitely have the chemistry because they've working together for so long now that they probably know what they could do and what they are capable of. So it makes sense.
At least you have the option of another guy now, like you said, another guy to headline some matches. So.
Yeah,
because they did the same thing. You have somebody we'll get into him a little bit later, but Rusev was all over the place on the card, up and down, and now he's obviously he's going the opposite way of Mojo. He's in the tag division, finally hitting his stride, taking that opportunity. He's making gold. So I don't really see an issue. I don't see where Mojo Rawley can't do the same thing, just by himself.
It's a good comparison.
So now the First match on the card, as that one was on the pre-show. The first match on the official card, Dolph Ziggler won the United States Championship against Bobby Roode and Baron Corbin in a triple threat match. First of all, I want to say the finish where Corbin hit the end of days on Roode, and while he was falling, Ziggler hit the zigzag. I loved it.
That was
Awesome.
dope.
I
Yeah.
replayed it 3-4 times. I thought it was great. But the bigger story comes this past Tuesday on SmackDown, where Ziggler cut the promo. He was like, "You guys don't deserve me. I'm the only one here who is really as good as he says he is." All that, and he left the title in the ring. What does that mean?
I don't even know.
I have no idea what's happening here.
I really don't either.
With Dolph.
I hope he doesn't like leave.
No, that would be terrible.
What
Yeah.
I
Could you
heard,
imagine?
I heard that he's not leaving, but he's just going to be off TV for a while. He's still going to work the live events, but he's just not going to be seen on TV for at least a month, maybe
But like,
till Royal
why
Rumble.
would you do that with like, everybody always talks about like, oh, I want to make this title prestigious. I want to make this title prestigious, but like, you're just gonna not wrestle at all with the title? Like
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense to me.
I'm confused about the character. 2 weeks ago, I was watching SmackDown. I made a note. You know how he's been coming out as music hits and then it goes all black? 2 weeks ago, the music played throughout his entire entrance, the whole thing. He walked to the match. The pay-per-view, it went all black, and on SmackDown, it went all black.
But on the pay-per-view when he won, they played his music.
Yeah. So, I'm confused.
They're going
of
back and
what's
forth. They
happening
got to
with him.
commit.
And now, the fact that he wins the title, and now he's going to be off of TV for a few weeks, confusing
So
to
now-
me. I mean, I'm not really sure what to make of it.
So now we don't have a U.S. champion? Like, I guess, right? He vacates the title?
That's actually kind of intriguing to me. I love when there's a title vacated and we get the matches leading up to it. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I don't
now
know.
you got to think, you would have thought Baron Corbin would have gotten a rematch. So do you think they just put him and Bobby Roode together again in a singles match? Or maybe
too easy.
it's
Yeah.
like a battle royal? I don't know. Who knows?
Well, we never know exactly how many weeks until Royal Rumble. We always guess. So,
Yeah.
it's like probably like 4 or 5 weeks away,
Yeah, something like
right?
that,
Figure?
yeah.
You got plenty of time to have some preliminary matches if you want to hold the title until the Rumble. To have the title match, I don't know what they're
That could be.
planning to do.
I guess so, but like, wouldn't you like want to have him like actually show it off and show that there's actually a title there?
Yeah,
like it
that-
doesn't make any sense to me. It really
Well,
doesn't.
Like you how you just said, you want to show it off, show that there's an actual title there. We haven't seen the main champion on Raw in how long?
Again,
well,
that's-
last week, but when was the last time he wrestled?
Yeah,
SummerSlam.
When was the last time he
exactly.
wrestled
Survivor
on
Series,
Raw?
yeah.
Oh, no,
Never.
he doesn't do that.
He
Never.
doesn't,
He
right?
doesn't.
So the guy who has the main championship doesn't even wrestle on the premier show for this company.
So now, hopefully, the U.S. Championship isn't really just a holding pattern. Hopefully, they find a home for it. Otherwise, that just turns into the Universal Champion, just without the Brock Lesnar. It's just there's no champion. That's one less title. That's one less thing for all those guys who are a little lower on the SmackDown card to do.
Maybe they want to shift the focus onto the WWE title. I guess that would be the case because they're leading up to Royal Rumble, and the winner of the Royal Rumble would get a chance to fight AJ Styles at, well, whoever is the WWE champion at WrestleMania. But, if they want to like go with that, then like just make the U.S. title like just have like a couple matches. Like you don't have to like shift the focus entirely, but like you could have that redemption match with like Baron Corbin. That's it. That's all you need. But like you could have the WWE title like be like the title on SmackDown, which it should be.
Mm-hmm.
And have literally every guy going at it and wanting to get that title.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. I don't think the U.S. title hurts the WWE title at all, especially when Styles is holding it. You don't have to worry about it, losing esteem or anything like that.
Right, and it's the secondary champion. It gives people who aren't as high on the card. It gives them something to do. It gives them a reason to fight. I'm not gonna fight you because I don't like you. I'm gonna fight you because I want to be the U.S. champion. And now with that, hopefully, I think it'll be a quick turnaround right away. This Tuesday, Daniel Bryan or Shane or one of them will come out and tell us what's going on with the U.S. title.
I hope so.
So, we'll move it along the rest of the pay-per-view.
Can I ask one more
Yeah,
question?
go for
Would
it.
you be for or opposed a guy like Randy Orton in the mix for the U.S. title?
I'd be for it.
I'd love it.
Because you think it would bring some juice to the
Yeah,
title or something
definitely.
like that?
sure.
It would give it some more interest, definitely.
And you still have Randy, who's a main guy, but doesn't necessarily have to have the WWE Championship.
Exactly.
Right.
So, all right. Okay.
And the funny thing about Randy Orton is that I heard also that he's taken some time off after the Rumble, I think.
Okay.
I think he's take like February and March off, maybe be back for Mania, take some more time off.
Well deserved. He's been
For
he's
sure.
been on SmackDown.
What he
every
wants
night.
to do is like have these other guys be able to, carry a show and carry a live event and without overseas without him even having to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's his goal right now is to build up other guys so that they could like take his role of performing each and every night like overseas or in the United States going across the country so he could be with his family. That's his whole thing.
And in turn, it makes it more meaningful when you do get an Orton match.
When he's there,
Right.
exactly.
It'll
Because
be more of a part-timer
I
thing.
hate to say it. When was the last time a Randy Orton match was important and it was my Randy Orton, he's almost like a gatekeeper. This is a big thing.
At Mania, probably. That was the last time. With him versus Bray Wyatt. But that was again ruined.
Right. So we haven't seen in a while like a top tier Orton match, and I'd love to see one. I really would. So hopefully, maybe if he's taking the time off, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Maybe it'll bring back the Randy Orton of old.
Distance, absence, same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. The synths, no big deal. I'll look it up. I was right. So the next match was Charlotte retaining the women's title against Natalya in the lumberjack match. This was a mess.
I knew it was going to be a mess.
It's a lumberjack match. You can't put on a good lumberjack match.
And again, we saw the attempted cash in by Carmella, right?
Yeah, like the almost.
Yeah, it was like, oh, is she gonna do it? Is she gonna do it?
Well,
no.
Now here's my issue. The whole point of the Riot Squad is like they want the women's championship, right? So
Is that what it
I
is?
think that's what they've been saying. But wouldn't it be easier for them to beat Carmella than for them to beat Charlotte?
Yeah.
So why did they stop Carmella from cashing in? You have no answers.
No,
I have no answers. I really don't. I thought that this was a good opportunity for her to possibly cash it in. I just thought it was a weird match top to bottom. Every time Lana goes to hit somebody, I get so scared for the person because I feel like she's going to mess up and hurt someone.
yeah.
Like
She's
like
gonna
very,
poke
like-
somebody in the eye. Who knows?
kick to the face unintentionally.
She's so inexperienced and like she needs
brutal.
She needs training. She definitely needs training.
What was the end of that match though? With Natalya and like crying.
Ugh.
Oh, the promo.
What
Yes,
was
that did nothing for me.
It did less than nothing.
And like
for
she's
me.
already the
She's
heel.
already a heel, yeah,
And then
she's
for her to
going-
say, "All right, well, you turned your back on me, the WWE universe. I'm turning my back on you." I was watching my dad. My dad just looks at me and goes, "What the hell does that mean?"
Exactly.
Like, what does
It
that
doesn't
mean?
even make any
I'm
sense.
watching. I had no idea where she was going with it. She starts crying. To double down, make it even worse, she wasn't even on SmackDown, I don't think, on Tuesday.
Yeah,
She's
no,
turning
yeah.
her back on us. I don't know.
Maybe she takes some time up.
It maybe her and Ziggler turn their back together. I don't
They
know.
have kind of a similar thing going on.
Maybe
actually.
they're teaming in the mixed match challenge.
Could be.
not-
That's
that's
a
not-
legitimate.
I have no
that's
idea.
a legitimate thing.
Well,
but
I don't
who
feel. I
knows?
feel like
I
they
like
wouldn't.
that
I feel like they wouldn't incorporate like their feuds on the main shows with the mixed match challenge. I feel like that's going to be a completely separate entity.
Yeah, I agree
So.
with you.
So, and obviously we'll wait the next couple weeks when they start announcing those teams.
Yeah.
But the next match, it was for me, it was one of the most intriguing matches because as much as I knew what was going to happen, I wanted to see it if they would really pull the trigger. Bludgeon Brothers versus Breezango, and the Bludgeon Brothers looked pretty good. Now they got to be next in line for the Usos tag titles, right? After now Benjamin and Gable, who beat them on SmackDown.
I would think, because now they're picking up some steam.
Yeah, they're running through everybody.
Yeah. Good to see Breezango in the match.
Kind of in a ring.
Yeah. But
I know.
they kind of got squashed.
They did.
To be honest.
What would you expect?
I don't know. I feel like Breezango could put up more of a fight. To be honest, but I guess they didn't have enough room on the
no,
card.
I totally agree.
makes
But
sense.
then to put them in the ring with the Bludgeon Brothers,
Yeah.
who with this new repackaged, they've had 3 matches maybe. They haven't looked bad at all. They
No.
they're monsters. They weren't gonna hold it. Like Breezango wasn't gonna do anything to them.
Yeah.
But now that you have to see it, give them an opportunity. That's got to be what they want, right?
More bludgeoning. More brothers.
Or that too. That's right. Well, the Usos are brothers. There you
That's
go.
true, yeah.
More brothers. Throw them in. But Harper and Rowan aren't brothers. They don't even have the same name.
Why are they in the match?
Well, they would be in the match. It would make sense because they've been running through
Right,
everybody.
right.
Yeah, so
But-
they have an opportunity now. Because
I think so.
maybe you get them. I don't know. Maybe you get them first, Gable and Benjamin, but I don't.
Well, Gable and Benjamin,
They're pretty hot right now,
We'll
Gable
move it
and Ben-
right
especially
along. The
Gable.
next match was the 4-way tag match. The Usos retained against Rusev and English, The New Day, and Benjamin and Gable. Benjamin and Gable, after the Usos retained, on Tuesday, Benjamin and Gable beat the Usos in a non-title match, so they got to be next, right?
Quick note. This was match of the night, right, for Clash of Champions?
Absolutely.
It really was. It was a great match.
For sure.
And Gable was...
Whenever he gets a spot to shine, he's just absolutely electric.
Listen,
He hits
How
it
about
out
when
of the
he
park.
dropped Aiden English right on his neck? He went to give him that German and just...
It had
gave
to
it
have
too
been
much.
because he was going between Rusev and Big E.
Yeah.
He probably realized he forgot Aiden English wasn't as heavy as the two of them, and he just overshot it. But he looked like a superstar in this match.
Awesome.
Night
It was
in and
awesome.
night out
I
when
love
he
that.
has
It was great.
opportunities.
Every week he's
like
been
that.
doing the same thing. He's been showing off like what he can do, and it translates well because he, is forced into this tag team almost, but he could be doing like a singles run, and we would be enjoying it much more, I think.
Yeah.
But right now, it's a good spot for him to be in for sure.
I think so, too. I think eventually maybe a U.S. Championship match
Yes,
for Gable
definitely.
would be awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully he gets to shine in the Royal Rumble match. Maybe he gets a nice couple spots in there. That'd be pretty cool.
I want to see more title matches on SmackDown. I know that's kind of like, everybody wants to see more title matches,
Yeah.
obviously. But now you have so many guys. Like you have the Bludgeon Brothers and you have Gable and Benjamin who deserve the shot. I think you can get one out on SmackDown before the Rumble.
Right, because you can't wait 1 month to do the
Exactly.
next match, and then, all right, well, you guys deserve a shot too. All right, wait till next month at the pay-per-view. You're totally right. And they've been doing that lately.
Yeah.
They've been having those tag matches, or the tag title matches with the U.S. on SmackDown. I definitely think it couldn't hurt by doing more of them.
And
Totally
I think
right.
that goes back to the point where we had spoke about how they want to have less pay-per-views to make them more meaningful, right? And how do you do that? You make SmackDown more meaningful by having title matches on the show.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
That's what I'm saying.
So before we get into the last two matches of the card, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to The Phenomenal Forum here on WCWPsports.org.
You're listening to the Phenomenal Forum on WCWP Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Phenomenal Forum. Matt Weinstein here with Alex Demiris, Andrew Servideo each and every week. That was the Undisputed Era's theme song. We'll get into them a little bit later, the new NXT Tag Team Champions. But first off, let's finish the Clash of Champions. We're going to skip. We're going to do the main event first, then the second to last match. We'll do so. AJ Styles versus Jinder Mahal. AJ retains the WWE Championship. Two takeaways from this match. For me, first, this has to be it for Jinder in the title picture, right?
Hopefully.
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, but especially you threw him into the main event on SmackDown in the 6-man tag, which we'll talk about in a little. But I don't know if this is. I don't know if this. I thought it was last week. I'm not sure if it is this week.
I feel like they want to keep him like a top contender.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they want to keep him in the loop, and they want to like build him up as a bigger star than he actually is, and it makes sense. But I don't want him to fight for the title at anytime soon.
Are you cool with him being still at the top? Though?
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm fine with it.
All right.
I'm fine with it because
I
you know what?
You're
He's proven himself.
You're a Hinder Jinder guy.
I'm very Hinder Jinder guy, but the thing is, like, he's proven himself. I think
I agree.
this past year he's done a lot, and he's established himself as the biggest heel on SmackDown.
Really
so
is.
it makes sense for him to be in the title picture, predominantly against AJ Styles. But I don't
You
really
just don't want him to beat AJ Styles.
correct. I don't want him to, with the WWE title anytime soon. He could have it next year. Right now, don't touch it.
And don't put him in the title match at Royal Rumble.
Absolutely
Throw him in
not.
the Rumble.
Throw him in the Rumble.
Put him
Yeah,
in
put
the Rumble.
Rumble.
And this main event sold me. And I remember one of my buddies texted me after the match. He's like, "It's the first AJ match that's been bad in a really long time." And I was like, "I don't think so. I think it was a good match. AJ did what he had to do, and Jinder looked like $1 million. He was throwing them all over the place. He looked like a big, he's like a huge monster. He was a contender, and he was a threat to the WWE Championship. And that just makes AJ Styles look so much better in the end.
Yeah, the fact that he ended up winning. Because throughout the match, if you didn't know any better watching, you would have thought that Jinder actually had a shot to win that match, I think.
Well, that's the problem. I did.
Exactly. We all
as
did.
much
we knew
as
better.
as much as obviously we
Unfortunately,
don't
we
want to
did,
see Jinder Mahal take the title off of AJ Styles, it was always a looming possibility in the back of my head because of the way he's been built, because of the way he looks in the ring. He has the Singh brothers on the outside, and the way AJ's bumping for him, you never knew. And the Styles clash that AJ hit on one of the Singh brothers on the outside was rough.
That's gotta hurt, man.
He hit the ground hard.
Really hard.
He must have been feeling that
And,
one. I
like-
was feeling it from my recliner in my living room.
From top to bottom too. Like his whole body hit at the exact same time.
Yeah, it
Like,
was-
and I like how AJ won with the calf crusher.
yes.
I did too.
The last time
I
they
really
fought,
liked
he hit
that.
him with the phenomenal forearm. He won the championship. This time, work the leg, calf crusher.
And they're really making that submission move like an actual threat because you saw on Brock Lesnar, even when he used it on Brock Lesnar was in pain when he was in that calf crusher. So it makes sense for them to have somebody lose to it. So
Yeah, I like it also because he doesn't win much with the Styles Clash. He mostly hits the forearm, which I love the forearm, but I don't love when he gets the pin right off of it. Like it used to be, like in his old days, it used to be a setup. He would hit it, then wait for them to get up for the Styles Clash. He should win with the Styles Clash. He should win with the calf crusher. The forearm, for me, is more of a signature, like a setup type move.
I don't think AJ can. Maybe he could hit it on Jinder, but I'm not sure. The Styles Clash. Jinder's a big dude.
He's hit it on bigger guys in the past, but it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
They haven't been letting him do it to as many guys, so it's
Yeah.
definitely a possibility. And again, another match where somebody kicks out of that springboard 450. It just looks like death. I don't think he's won with it ever. It just makes his opponent look so much better by kicking out. But nonetheless,
but is that a bad thing though?
Such an awesome move.
I don't
It
think
is
so.
it's a
But
great move.
that's like the most devastating thing in his arsenal.
Yeah.
To kick out of that is unheard of.
Yeah, but I think a calf crusher is more painful.
No, I agree. I like that he's winning with the calf crusher. So now we'll get into that final match of the card. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura. Special guest refs Daniel Bryan and Shane. If Owens and Zayn lose, they are fired. This match was more story than substance.
Definitely more story than substance.
And the first half of it was a snooze fest. It was just the Daniel Bryan and Shane fighting, trying to figure out how to do it. Like we're gonna draw. We're fighting brothers, so we're gonna draw the line in the middle of our room. Don't touch my stuff. This is my side.
It was a bit of a mess at first.
It was ridiculous.
Awkward was the word that I used to describe it.
Yeah.
But once they finally almost forgot about that and just let these four guys go, it almost made up for it.
It did pick up after that point. It was good. I actually liked when they split the ring in half because it at least gave me an idea of what was happening.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest takeaway of this whole story is that Daniel Bryan is taking bumps. As small as they might be, he's bumping,
Very small.
and that
Very, very small.
that can lead to extraordinary things.
Did at any point you guys think that someone was going to take like a little swing at him, or a
Yeah.
push to the
I
ground
thought-
or
thought
something?
I
that
thought
was a
Shane
perfect
would.
opportunity
Yeah.
to do so. I don't know if they're
I
gonna.
thought him and Shane would have gotten involved a little bit.
It
but
was close.
It was.
And I loved the finish where Daniel Bryan just slid in, counted the quick 3, and rolled out of the ring. I loved it. It was incredible, especially after Shane just didn't count the 3 for Sami Zayn, who had Randy Orton pinned for like a 4 or 5. And it's like not even Daniel Bryan turning heel. Like for him, he's justifying it. He's doing the right thing, but almost allying himself with the heels. I love it. I love every part of it.
Yeah, because what happened? Shane was counting, and somebody pushed Daniel Bryan into Shane.
Owens pushed Daniel Bryan onto the cover.
Right? Yeah, and then Shane's like, "What are you doing?
Yeah,
Why would you
yeah.
do this?"
Right.
And then
goes
Shane
on
came
and
out
on.
on SmackDown
All he-
and he was like, "Listen, like,
He's like, I know that now.
Yeah.
Shane came out on SmackDown. And he was like, I need no what? It was like he got mad at Daniel Bryan that he did that at the end, but he understood why he did it because Shane was like conflicted, and Shane was like, "Oh, I just thought about all the times that Kevin Owens hit my father and all this stuff," and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this whole thing.
At this point, it's past the I'm mad at you for beating up my father. Now it's just like they were in a Hell in a Cell match together, Shane and Kevin Owens.
Right.
Don't you think like he got enough revenge? Like, but I guess that now it's just like it's almost Daniel Bryan said it, like you're turning into your father, like
Turning into Mr. McMahon.
that's huge. That's big for me, at least, because now Shane can be like that huge corporate heel that, just right next to his father.
That'd be cool.
And now, again, you run it back, Daniel Bryan versus The Authority.
Yeah.
And this time it's Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus The Authority. Who says no? Where do you go wrong?
It depends who's in the Authority, I guess, right? Because you can't turn, like, for this specific match, it was Orton and Nakamura, but they would never.
No, I think that was just a placeholder.
Exactly.
But it's just, like, it's not necessarily The Authority as a stable. It's just, like, The Authority as an idea
Okay.
of Shane McMahon.
What about a little Batista and Shane?
Ooh. No, hold on.
Hold on. This is what I like.
Hold
This
on.
is what I like when it starts happening.
What about Shane with Batista and Orton?
All right, now we're getting somewhere. All right.
I actually like that
That'd
a
be
lot.
sick.
Versus, wow.
Sami Zayn, KO,
And
Nakamura,
wow.
whatever.
We might have just saved everybody 3 weeks of watching
Yeah,
SmackDown Live.
everybody, Batista's coming back, and this is how. You heard it here first. So, now we'll finally get into Raw now.
Okay.
Because we've done a lot of SmackDown, obviously the pay-per-view. The two big takeaways from Raw. One, the Royal Rumble Universal title match is set. Strowman versus Lesnar versus Kane. Like we thought last week, we kind of said they were leaning towards it with the double countout. Now it's official.
Like it, love it, or hate it.
I like it.
Andrew?
I like it.
Because I think it's a good idea to keep Strowman out of the Rumble because
Okay.
he could only look worse being in the Royal Rumble.
if he gets
'Cause
knocked out by somebody.
Either he's going to win, which if it's not in the plans, he'll look bad. Like, however he gets eliminated would not look good for him. But him just not being in it at all
Perfect.
and being in the title match, I'm a big fan. I like it a lot.
Now, hold on. Who do you think comes out of this title match winning?
Not Kane.
Definitely not Kane.
But
Definitely not.
good for
That's my
Kane to be in
prediction.
this match.
For sure.
Give him
Yeah.
his last hurrah,
I think
you
he'll
know?
be done by WrestleMania.
Hopefully, maybe we
Probably.
get some pyro
Oh,
in the entrance.
I hope.
That'd be fantastic.
I've been itching for some pyro, man.
But now it's tough to predict because you think all year they've been building up to that Roman Lesnar match at Mania, but who's to say they don't throw a hitch in those plans and give the title to Strowman here?
And
I'd be
then-
so excited for
and then
that.
Strowman, Lesnar at Mania?
No, Strowman reigns at Mania.
But then what do you do with Brock?
Have him fight whoever. It doesn't matter. He doesn't. Yeah, he's irrelevant.
I agree with you, but
Because
a
like,
lot
look,
of people.
if you've been protecting these two all year, and still these are your top guys.
Yeah, but you're protecting Brock just as much, if not more, than the two of them.
But Brock doesn't need a title. He doesn't need that universal title. He could go and wrestle whoever.
Does Roman need a title at this point?
No.
Does Strowman need a title
Yes,
at this point?
Strowman might need the title. You know why? Because Strowman is becoming bigger and bigger of a threat.
But I feel like Braun Strowman's bigger than the Universal title.
Oh, absolutely.
So is Brock Lesnar, to be completely honest
Right.
with you. But I don't think Strowman. I think Brock walks out of the Royal Rumble champion.
really,
I do.
I would
think-
like to see Strowman win it. I think the fact that Strowman hasn't won a title yet is a little weird
right.
because of how dominant he is.
He's just dominant. He needs it.
How about this? How about Strowman pins Kane,
Yeah.
wins the title,
Yeah.
Lesnar in the Rumble? Could you see it?
And Lesnar wins the Rumble.
I don't want to go that far.
Oh no!
I don't want to go
no.
that far because I don't
Nakamura's
want
supposed to win the
I don't want to
Rumble.
see a Lesnar. I don't want to see. I'd rather see Nakamura.
Right.
I'd rather see Joe. Like I'm sticking
For-
with.
for sure.
I'm sticking with that.
I'm
I'd rather
fine
see
with
one
either
of
of
those
them.
guys than Lesnar.
Yeah.
But I would like the clock to go down and then Lesnar's music hits. Pissed off after he just
And
lost
it's
his
game
title.
time, right?
That'd be cool.
Comes
But
in the ring and starts.
now you
Horn.
mentioned Brock Lesnar. You mentioned Samoa Joe. Are we just gonna run back the What are you looking at me for?
Hold
Andrew's
on.
looking at
Now hold on. If we go with my plan of Strowman versus Roman,
You can have Brock versus Joe.
we got Brock versus Joe in like a no DQ match.
Right, but
that'd be sick.
Here's what I was.
Are you kidding?
I'm not against it, but here's what I'm getting at. If we go with that plan, you have Strowman win the title, you have him and Reigns, and you have Brock and Joe doing whatever. Are we just running back SummerSlam at WrestleMania, the same 4 guys involved?
Not only
whether
that.
it's 2 separate matches or it's another fatal 4-way or a triple threat with 3 of those guys. Is that what we want again?
You're right. We would be running back not only SummerSlam, but the last year of
Brock
everything
Lesnar
of Brock
challengers.
Lesnar. Exactly.
Since he took the title off of Goldberg, everybody except for AJ Styles that Brock has wrestled with, they just running it back, and I don't think that's what they want. I don't think that.
I didn't even think about
I don't know if
that.
anybody wants that. Realistically, right?
I don't know.
I don't want to see Lesnar win the Rumble or be in the main event at WrestleMania.
So, in your world, what is Brock Lesnar doing at WrestleMania?
Sitting on a beach, drinking a
He's definitely gonna be at
drinking-
Mania.
drinking some
Realistically,
Steve Weisers.
yeah.
yeah, it's something. But I don't know.
Well, there's also rumors that they've been going on for the past couple months that after WrestleMania he's done. So, if that's the case,
Done for like
is that who
Until
it
he
could
wants
be
his Goldberg
done
moment.
until he
Now,
wants.
what if
Yeah,
what if we have Batista come back and fight Lesnar?
That's a match I'd like to see.
All right.
However,
There you go.
however,
There's plenty
that's a
of
match
things they
I
could
want to
do.
see. That's not a match I want to see with a title involved.
Oh, absolutely not.
exactly
Because
Yeah.
that's the last 5 or so years of WrestleMania main events for the championship. Last year was Lesnar, Goldberg, Triple H was involved. You get your Lesnar's, your Triple H's, whoever. That's not where you need to be. Or The Rock, whoever. You have these guys who are working night in and night out. They're on tour. They're making the trips. And then like someone like Dean Ambrose was on the pre-show last WrestleMania, put SmackDown on his back alongside AJ Styles after that brand split.
Yeah, that was a great
And they
feud.
said, hey, we have nothing for you. You're going to be in the pre-show at 6 o'clock. I fell asleep during the 6 o'clock pre-show match. I was exhausted,
It's terrible.
and I fell asleep. Dean Ambrose is one of my favorite wrestlers on the entire roster. I fell asleep during his non-marquee match.
Since we're spitballing ideas, this would be great. Lesnar enters the Rumble. Batista surprise entry eliminates Lesnar,
Yeah.
and now you have your feud setting up for
Non-title.
non-title.
I'm
of
all.
course.
I can
Yes,
get on board.
All right.
because
all right.
Strowman's gonna pin Kane and get the title and fight Roman at Mania. That'd be fantastic.
Roman's got to lose the IC
I'm on-
eventually, then, right?
I'm on board with. First of all, where was Roman this week? Do we know?
He wasn't.
He wasn't on
there,
Raw.
no,
Did
yeah,
they
you're right.
mention it?
No, they didn't mention that he was.
I
on a
had no
honeymoon.
idea.
Michael Cole didn't mention
Right,
where
that he was on Dean Ambrose and Renee Young's honeymoon. But I didn't realize. Like,
but,
I
like-
realized I didn't notice why. And I don't think they mentioned it. Did you know, Andrew?
No, but like I think it's good that he's not, because a show where the constant guys are showing up every week, and you're getting tired of them. It makes sense for them not to be there one week just
Oh, no,
because.
I don't have an
whatever.
issue with it.
Yeah.
Why would I can't believe that if there wasn't a legitimate reason, Vince would just keep him off TV. That had to have been something.
No, I mean whatever.
Okay.
Especially the fact that they didn't say anything about it makes it a little more peculiar.
I'm not mad
'Cause
about
usually
it.
when somebody's not there,
Yeah.
they'll tell you where
They'll
they are.
say-
Right.
They didn't
Oh,
mention,
he's shooting a movie. Oh, he's on
they
his
didn't
honeymoon.
mention it at all. They just said
Dean Ambrose is on his honeymoon.
right. Like they
For a
didn't.
time.
They didn't mention that Roman wasn't there. They just said, "Hey, Ambrose and Rollins, Jason Jordan's your tag partner today." They didn't say because Roman's out, because Roman's here.
You're right.
It was weird.
It was weird.
So, nonetheless, before we get to our last break, we'll touch on it quick, and then we'll talk more about it coming out of the break. We're talking Royal Rumble winners. You know, we're pulling double duty this year. We have the first ever Women's Royal Rumble. I am stoked about this match. The idea is great. It's a long time coming. The way they pulled it off was awful. Absolutely a terrible segment. The worst segment of the day.
2 thumbs down on that segment.
This is what I heard. The women in the ring had
I
no idea.
I heard the same
They
thing.
had no idea that the Royal Rumble was even going to happen for them.
That's fine, but 2 things killed this segment for me. One, Stephanie, which is
she's the worst.
usual. But
you
also,
guys are
she's the worst.
1A and 1B on the I Hate Stephanie McMahon fan club.
no, but forget that. That wasn't even the worst part. The worst part is that it started with the 6-woman tag: Mickey, Bailey and Sasha versus Absolution.
Yeah.
And then Absolution started beating down whoever was the one in the ring. I think it was Sasha.
Yeah.
It might have been Bailey. Who knows? Maybe it was Mickie James. One of the three.
Had to be one of those three.
Either way, they were beating them down. Then the whole Raw roster comes out. So again, it was the Raw locker room versus Absolution. And then Stephanie comes out, and her music hits. It's like Pavlov's dog. They stopped. They said, "What's going on?" She makes the announcement. We're all friends. We're all holding hands, raising our
hugging.
No, like, are you kidding me?
I think it's because that they had no idea that they were so excited and they didn't know how to
but
control their
obviously,
emotions.
yeah, obviously they didn't know how to control it. But at the end of the day, you got to remember, we still don't like these people. And I feel like this was an announcement. This wasn't an announcement for the main event. This was an announcement to kick off the show.
Yeah.
And then you have this 6-woman tag in the main event. The same thing happens. All hell breaks loose. And then you get Michael Cole on the calling in. He's like, "Oh, this is what we're going to see at the first Women's Royal Rumble." Like, that would have made sense. This didn't make much sense.
Yeah.
And the cherry on top was Stephanie McMahon saying, if there was ever a time for a yes chant, this is it. Come on.
Brutal.
Stop
She
it.
ruins everything, dude.
I couldn't take it.
Every happy moment just got to ruin.
What are we thinking for the Rumble? This Women's Rumble opens the pay-per-view, and then you get your title matches, and then the Men's Royal Rumble at the end of it?
I think that makes the most sense.
That makes sense. That'd be cool.
That's how I thought of it in my head, because you don't want to
have two Royal Rumbles back to back.
Exactly.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
So one of them's got to open. It's not going to be the men's Royal Rumble.
Right.
So
Not.
this is a perfect Royal Rumble opener. Get people jacked up from the beginning to see something
I
for the
agree.
first
I like
time
that
ever.
idea.
So we'll flesh things out a little bit more after break, and then we'll get into the rest of the week. We're going to take a quick break. This is the Phenomenal Forum on WCWPsports.org.
You're listening to the Phenomenal Forum on WCWP Sports.
Welcome back to the Phenomenal Forum here on WCWPsports.org. Matt Weinstein alongside Andrew Servideo and Alex Demiris each and every week. So we left off at the break talking some Women's Royal Rumble. We'll keep the train rolling. So do you think they're going to... I agree with you, Alex. I think they will start off the show with the Rumble. Do you think they're going to get 30 women and match it?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think they have the capability.
Yeah, for sure. They have NXT.
They have plenty of
women
women in
wrestlers.
NXT.
They have plenty of legends that can return. They have Beth Phoenix. They have Lita. They have
Trish Stratus. Whoever.
Oh, I don't think any of those three are going to be in the Rumble match.
I think.
Really?
How about this one? How about? I just thought of this one right now. Michelle McCool, Mrs. Undertaker.
Yeah.
I think that would.
I have no idea.
I think that'd be
what's
cool.
her name? Eve Torres, right?
Eve
She's
Torres.
still,
maybe we get James Ellsworth in the Women's Royal Rumble.
That would be funny.
Who knows?
That
I
sounds
think-
like a Royal Rumble, Women's Royal Rumble 2. Maybe next year.
I think if James Ellsworth was still employed, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah,
That's a
but
funny
have
idea.
I don't think they
but
would have him.
I think just because, and there's plenty of women down at NXT. Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, potentially Ember Moon, like a one-off, even though she's a champion. Kairi Sane. Then you have all of the women in the Mae Young Classic as well.
Yeah.
So I think
Talent's not the issue.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do 20, maybe 25, but 30's doable.
I think they have to do the 30. Otherwise, it's not the Royal Rumble.
Now,
in my opinion.
well, the first Rumble was 20. They had one was 40. They could change it up, especially it's the first Royal Rumble, the first Women's Royal Rumble. They could change some rules. Hopefully, they keep it as similar as possible.
It's 2 minutes. A new entry comes
I think
in.
90 seconds.
It
90
depends.
seconds?
They don't care. They
They
do
also
whatever.
don't count.
They
Maybe
do
bump
from-
it down to a minute or something. for
Sometimes
the
they do a
women, so
minute.
have them-
Sometimes they do 90
yeah.
seconds. Sometimes they do 2 minutes.
Sometimes
Sometimes they
they
do
do
2.5
like
minutes.
8.5
It could be in
minutes.
anything.
Okay.
So
But now the big thing here is that people have been talking for months, really years, since she made the appearance with The Rock at WrestleMania 31, that Ronda Rousey is a potential entrant in this match. And I think if that Ronda Rousey is in this match, because they scrapped the 4 horsewomen of NXT versus 4 horsewomen of MMA match at WrestleMania.
I'm glad.
So I am too. However, if she's in this Royal Rumble, you got to think she's going to win and she's going to go on. I guess the money match is her versus Charlotte, right?
Eventually, I think so. Maybe not this early. We don't know what she can. Look, we know she could fight, obviously, but we don't know what she can
Apparently
really
she's
do in the ring.
But
apparently
maybe
she's
you
been training with like Natalia and stuff. But like
Maybe you have her get screwed over in this match somehow, set up a little feud with somebody else first, get her feet wet a little bit, and then you put her against somebody like Charlotte.
But here are my 2 takeaways about Ronda Rousey. The first being, the first is that, like, I feel she needs the WWE much more than the WWE needs her.
Okay.
She hasn't been. When was the last time she had a fight?
When was the last time?
When was the last time she was in the spotlight?
Yeah.
And, but I think that you put her in the ring, she's gonna be green as grass. But you put her in the ring, she'll tap somebody out, she'll do whatever. And my biggest worry is that Ronda Rousey's trademark was the armbar, and Asuka in the past couple weeks has stopped winning with the Asuka lock. She's now been winning with an armbar. Those two are on a collision course to fight each other. Yeah. And is Ronda Rousey going to give Asuka her first loss? See, you don't want it to happen, but I'm not asking if you would like to see it. I'm asking if it is going to happen.
I didn't even think of that. Dude, that's going to happen. No.
One other thing that I just thought of while you were making the 2 points. You're not bringing Ronda Rousey in here to job to other competition.
No, absolutely not.
Like, Ronda Rousey is getting in the ring, she is locking in an armbar, and she's throwing everybody out of the Royal Rumble. Like Nia Jax isn't picking her up and placing her out of the ring. She is eliminating Nia Jax. She's going to pin Asuka, whoever. Beth Phoenix will be in the match. She'll armbar her. It doesn't matter.
Edge is going to come out. Edge is out.
I'm going to start crying, dude.
I'm
thinking about this, dude.
Look,
this
I'm not
hasn't happened yet.
I'm not asking you whether you like it or not. I'm asking you whether you think it will happen.
It's going to happen,
There's a
dude.
good
There's
possibility.
No other way.
Why else would she? Asuka was NXT Women's Champion for 500-plus days. She basically won every single match with that Asuka lock. She's been on TV for a month. She kept winning with the Asuka lock. All of a sudden, past 3 weeks, she's doing an armbar instead.
Dude.
What's that about?
It's got to be about that. No.
Yeah.
I'm so upset.
There's a good chance.
Dude. No. I don't want this to happen at all.
So now,
That's a hot take.
That's a steaming.
the hottest.
Let me put it on the board.
So we'll leave it Women's Royal Rumble talk here. Who do you think a month in advance? Who is your winner?
Oh, you're asking now?
Right now.
Oh, Jesus.
Obviously, things will change. We'll see all these storylines. But right now, as at the moment of announcing, who do you think is the inaugural winner of the Rumble? Assuming Charlotte and Alexa Bliss are not in this match,
Nia Jax.
which is a blow. You have Nia Jax.
Yeah.
Nia Jax. Wow.
It's make it a Nia Jax moment. She hasn't had one since she's been in the WWE pretty much. She's the most dominant aside from Asuka, right? Give her moment. Let's pick up some steam towards WrestleMania.
I understand where you're coming from. I don't think it'll be a Nia Jax because if you look back at the history of the Royal Rumble, the big man
Very rarely
has always been like, how can somebody lift up the Big Show over the top rope? Someone seems to do it.
She's going to be the Big Show of the
I
the
think
Rumble.
she will have a very, very impressive showing. She'll be the highlight of the match. But she
eliminate the most people, definitely.
Yeah, stuff like that. I have Becky Lynch, and she goes on to face Charlotte one-on-one for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and she beats Charlotte at WrestleMania because of the 4 horsemen of NXT, Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha, Becky. She's the only one who hasn't really had
that match.
Her moment.
Yeah.
Charlotte and Sasha have had moments upon moments. Bayley was with Sasha in the NXT main events, Iron Woman matches. Becky, she won the title.
The first ever SmackDown Women's title.
She won the title, had like a 3 month reign, lost to Alexa Bliss, never even had a rematch. Well, she had a rematch, but like after her rematch, was never again in the title picture. It's Becky Lynch's moment. And I think we see Becky Lynch versus Charlotte at WrestleMania after Becky wins the Rumble.
That would get me excited.
I'd be very excited for that. But unfortunately, now that you said this Ronda Rousey thing's happening, I really think that Ronda Rousey's going to win.
See, your mojo's done for the rest of the show
Dude,
over there.
I'm so upset,
Matt knocked
dude.
it out of you now.
I'm shooting straight.
I really think it is. I really think it's going to be Ronda Rousey because
Now,
this is how it is.
It's interesting.
Now, hold on.
Sure.
I'm going to be very excited if Ronda Rousey loses, but could we possibly see Paul Heyman becoming her manager?
I think that's the only thing that would get me behind it.
I agree. if Paul Heyman comes out and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman,
Yeah, we know what
and
he
I'd like
says.
you to
Yeah,
introduce
we get it.
It's really
Ronda
a perfect
Rousey."
fit if you think about it, right?
I
my
think
God.
so.
I would mark out.
I bet you would.
I would totally mark out.
That's not very common of you, but I don't see why not. Now, it's interesting. Last thing we'll talk about Women's Rumble. 3 of us here, not one of us said Asuka, not one of us said Paige. So
And Paige is gonna have her compadres.
Paige is gonna
helping her
have
in there,
absolute.
so-
Compadres,
So
yeah.
that's another thing to look at. Quick, another note from Raw. We had the 6-man tags. It was The Bar and Joe versus Jason Jordan, Rollins, and Ambrose. Ambrose apparently working through an elbow injury the past couple months. Now he's officially been written off TV.
That sucks.
This is the first time Ambrose is going to miss time due
Ever.
to injury in WWE.
Yeah.
What a huge blow.
And I'm not even the biggest Ambrose guy, and this hurts me. So
And now with him out, Reigns doing God knows what, where do you go with Seth Rollins?
Intercontinental Championship match.
You're forgetting that Roman Reigns is the Intercontinental Champion.
I don't care. I don't care. You said it before.
I don't have a problem.
It's not about fighting when we were talking about the U.S. title. It's not about starting a feud with somebody.
Ooh.
It's not about
Ooh.
rivalry.
All right.
Championship
no,
match.
that makes sense because you know what?
I know exactly what you're going to say.
If Seth Rollins beats Roman Reigns for the IC title,
I know exactly
we
what he's
get
going to say.
Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor for the
there it
IC
is.
title
There it
as
is.
a rematch
I
of
could-
SummerSlam.
I could have set my watch by him
Come
talking
on.
You
about
know
Finn
what,
Balor
though?
like
That adds juice.
to the
That's
IC title.
good. Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh my
So,
God.
you know
I'm
what?
not,
Book it.
I'm not against
Book it.
it. And
You got to do something with Rollins
now, speaking of Finn Balor, he was blindsided by the Miztourage. Hideo Itami debuts. As much as I loved it, I feel like it was such a tease because I knew, like they said, oh, he'll be on 205 Live tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I just leave him there. He fits. He fits with Finn Balor. He fits with these guys. Let him be. Just leave him alone. But obviously, he went to 205 Live. He wrestles Colin Delaney, who's been back on WWE TV the past couple weeks. You love to see it. But now, my worry is that, he fits so well with Finn. Do we eventually see Finn Balor making his way to 205 Live?
No. Please no. Please no.
Again, this is the same question. I'm not asking you what you want.
No.
I'm asking you what you think is possible.
No.
Would I be out of line to want cruiserweight tag team titles?
I feel like they already don't care enough about the
Yeah.
main championship.
No.
I know that.
I would love it.
They don't care enough about the main championship. You're right. Maybe you give other people this.
Or just put him in the tag team title picture, the regular tag team titles.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
I didn't even
I think that's
about that.
better.
Yeah, exactly. Like before Rich Swann got suspended, I had been saying for weeks, put Cedric and Swann in the tag title picture. If they have Hideo Itami here, him and Finn Balor could go for the tag titles. Him and Finn and Hideo versus The Bar versus Rollins and now Ambrose is out, or the Revival who just came back, and so many different combinations. But we've seen as much like I loved it every time, but we saw Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose versus The Bar
every week.
every week. I saw a stat. It was Seth Rollins faced either Sheamus, Cesaro, or both on an episode of Raw 78% of the time this year.
I mean, have we not came in here every time we did a show and mentioned that we've seen that match every single week?
And again, I love all 4 guys. They put on great work, but there's so many other guys to put them with. And now that the Revival is back, I think you can insert them in this feud right away.
You mentioned Revival. Are we getting a Rhino Heath Slater heel turn?
I don't know. Who cares?
Who cares about them? To be
I hate to
honest?
say it, but I think it'll lead to. No, I think Rhino's going to turn on Heath Slater. This run for Rhino's probably done, and then Heath Slater will go back to doing nothing.
Okay.
And now the last thing I want to talk about. Any last minute comments about Raw from you guys?
I got nothing.
I think we
Raw,
touched on
SmackDown.
everything.
I think we got everything.
My-
the New Day flapjack.
SmackDown.
It was pretty funny. Just if you
The
want
New
to
Day giving Aiden English a flapjack into flapjacks is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my
was
entire
funny,
life.
and the crowd so behind Rusev Day is awesome.
Their promo that they had backstage with Aiden English and Rusev
With them
singing
going back and forth.
Oh
Now they're
my
going,
God!
Rusev Day.
Yeah, yeah.
It was, you love it. Now,
And then and Biggie says, "You don't flap the wrong jack, sucker."
Yeah, that was
those guys together, just gold. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, NXT, we mentioned it, the two matches. The first one, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly of the Undisputed Era defeat Eric Young and Killian Dane of Sanity for the NXT tag titles. That is a huge win for the Undisputed Era. It now gives them so much credibility coming out of War Games. I thought this was a pretty good match.
Yeah, it was a cool match.
Yeah, it was a good match. I like the interference by Adam Cole and did you see that what's her face, the girl?
Yeah, go
Nikki
after
Cross.
him.
She
Nikki
went right
Cross.
after
She ran
Adam
and
Cole.
jumped on Adam
Yeah,
Cole. That was
awesome.
great.
Crossbody and just started beating him. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm not familiar too much with the Undisputed Era. Their finisher to win the match, though, they did like the kick to the face and the spinning heel kick
Yes.
down.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool
Yeah.
to end it, I thought.
Now, I thought this was a good match, but so even better, this main event, Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. And, we'll get into it next week when we talk about, like, our last week of the year. We'll talk about, like, our favorite matches of the year.
Great show next week.
Favorite everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're going to
tune
want
in.
to tune in. Top 10s of everything, top 5s, whatever you name it. But I thought Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate back in May at NXT Chicago was the best match of the year by far. There's no reason this one can't be second. These two guys, I don't care. I've been saying it for months. These two guys, I don't care if it's NXT, 205 Live, the UK show, Raw, SmackDown, Instagram Live. There is no reason why these two guys shouldn't be on TV every single week. I don't care where it is.
How do you make it happen? Just more on NXT? More UK title matches on NXT?
I guess so.
On
Yeah.
Raw
If they
once
put
in a
if they
while?
put the UK title on the main show of Takeover instead of it being on like the NXT after or the next week or whatever, I think that would be better.
Mhm.
I don't know if they want to set up feuds like that. I think they'd have to be on NXT predominantly every week.
Yeah.
Something like that or some
Which
way.
they should be. There's no reason
Right.
they're not. They
They
have
need
so many
because
guys.
it takes
They have
away
these
from
two
the
guys,
UK.
Andrews, Trent Seven. That's true. But we saw Pete Dunne defend the title against Cleveland's own Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
I think that is the way to go because you pigeonhole these guys. As great as it is to see Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate go a half hour, I would watch that every single time. But give these guys Johnny Gargano, CN, whoever's around, Eric Young, Adam Cole. If you put these guys in the ring with them, Velveteen Dream.
That'd be cool.
These guys could run NXT.
It's money, dude.
And eventually, they could just be like any other NXT prospect. Eventually, their time is done. They get called up. And you have Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne on the main roster, UK champion or not. Or whether they're in the cruiserweights or whether they're on the main roster, whatever it is. Let these guys wrestle every single week in front of an audience. That's all they need.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Strong take. Great match. That's all it really has to be said.
So, that's going to do it for this week. Next week, like we said, tune in for, our year in review 2017, favorite matches, favorite superstars, feuds,
It's going to be great.
everything. Best and worst we'll get to.
Yes.
So, tune
Lot
in
of worsts.
next week, the Phenomenal Forum. I'm Matt Weinstein with Andrew Servideo and Alex Demiris. Wishing you a happy holidays here on WCWPsports.org, the Phenomenal Forum.